Hey everyone, this is Nicole Kristal, Pediatric Occupational Therapist with Emerge Pediatric Therapy, here today to talk to you about leisure skills. Occupational therapists are particularly concerned with the things that we like to call occupations, which really we define as meaningful activity that you occupy your time with. And one of those meaningful occupations of childhood and adolescence is leisure skills. So leisure skills we loosely define as any activity one can find meaning and fulfillment in an out-of-school context. For example, this might be things like sports, arts and crafts, games, music and theater, or outdoor activities can all be considered leisure skills. Leisure skills, it's important to note that leisure skills are skills that your child can participate in without adult assistance. It helps children to manage their downtime and to be able to engage in things like cooking, coloring, listening to music, playing a game, or watching a movie without adult supervision. There are many developmental benefits to participating in leisure skills. For one, leisure skill participation can actually help with academic achievement and focus. It can also help with the process of identifying who you are, what your interests are, what your strengths are. Leisure skill development can help with the pursuit of hobbies and interests. It's also the beginning of where a lot of interpersonal development starts to happen. Through leisure activities, your children can relate to other peers and form lasting friendships. Leisure skills also really work hand in hand with the development of executive functioning skills. Things like time management and task initiation and organization skills are all a big part of the participation in leisure skills. And then social and emotional skill development, being able to manage my feelings, controlling my impulses, and improving my self-esteem can all be outcomes of leisure skill participation. So Another benefit of leisure skill participation is that children then participate in downtime activities that are adaptive or advantageous to them. When children don't know what to do with their downtime, they are susceptible to participating in maladaptive or less helpful strategies to fill up that downtime space. And over time, participation in maladaptive strategies can start to become preferred or habitual for any person. The population that we often serve at Emerge is children with developmental disabilities, and this population can often have difficulty with leisure skill engagement, many times because of a variety of factors. It could be that choosing a leisure skill is often overwhelming. It might be that I don't actually have the skills to engage in that leisure skill activity, or even finding an activity that is developmentally appropriate for your child or adolescent could be challenging. The good news though is that leisure skills can be taught. So here's a few ideas on how to get your child participating in leisure skill activities. First, get your child's attention, draw their attention to a particular leisure activity. Perhaps you bring out some cards and you start engaging in a game of war, for example. If your child displays interest in that activity and starts to explore that activity independent of you, it seems you might have a winner in terms of finding a leisure skill that interests your child. Model a variety of different leisure skills until your child seems to engage in one somewhat on their own, expresses some interest in it, and from there you can actually start to help your child learn how to participate in that leisure skill. You might introduce the steps involved in how they might, for example, if the leisure skill that your child is interested in is leisure reading, you might help them to learn the various steps involved in reading for leisure. For example, perhaps you make a date with them to go to a library. Maybe beforehand they actually get to pick out the genre of book they're most interested. Help them navigate to that area in the library, check out that library book. You might help them schedule some time on their calendar or on your family's calendar for when they can participate in that skill of reading. The more environments that you expose your child to this leisure skill participation, the better generalizable that skill is. So for example, we don't necessarily want our children to only know how to engage in a leisure skill in one context. So having books in your car with you, helping your child to engage in that skill while they're waiting in the car, maybe it's while they're waiting in a line in the airport, in as many different settings as possible to really help that skill generalize. It's also helpful to pair leisure skill teaching with some coping strategies and some emotional regulation tools. So for example, using that book illustration, if your child has their mind set on a particular book at the library and that book becomes unavailable, we want your child to be equipped to manage the disappointment of that. So pairing perhaps some coping strategies, some simple breathing strategies, or just calming tools can be helpful as you are teaching your child how to engage in these leisure skills. You can also schedule playdates or get-togethers with other peers who are also interested in those activities so that your child has a chance to engage in these activities with their peers. And yes, parents of teenagers, gaming is a leisure skill that is very developmentally appropriate for a group of teens to do together. Yes, I did say that on this video. And then finally, a couple of quick benefits to you caregivers that leisure skill participation is really helpful for you is leisure skills can help motivate your child to move through a less preferred task. If they, for example, know they get to read for fun after they finish homework, that leisure skill can be a motivator. And also, if your child is learning how to better manage their own downtime, guess what, parents? That also means you're gonna have more downtime for you as well. So leisure skill development is really vital and important to your child's overall success in life and to yours as well. If you have any further questions or concerns about your child's leisure skill development, feel free to reach out to us at Emerge Pediatric Therapy for further help. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon. Bye.